Silence is one of the most powerful weapons you can carry in life, especially when someone has walked away and you feel the need to prove your worth. The natural reaction after being hurt is to talk, to explain, to make sure they understand what they lost. But here's the truth: the more you talk, the more power you give away. Words often fall on deaf ears when someone has already made up their mind. But silence forces them to wonder. It creates a space where your absence speaks volumes, louder than any explanation you could ever give. When you stop talking about what you're going through, you remove their access to your emotions. You don't let them sit in the audience of your pain, clapping when you stumble or smirking when you struggle. Silence denies them that privilege. It makes them ask questions in their own mind. What is she doing? How is she handling this? Did she move on? Is she happier without me? And those questions hurt far more than any words you could ever throw at them. There's a certain dignity that comes with restraint. It shows maturity, strength, and an inner confidence that doesn't need validation. When you go silent, you're not showing weakness. You're showing discipline. You're saying, I don't owe you the details of my life. If you want to know what's happening with me, you have to watch from a distance. And watching from a distance is often the greatest punishment for someone who thought they could leave without consequences. Over time, silence becomes a mirror. It reflects your strength and exposes their loss. They start to realize that by walking away, they didn't leave you broken. They left you growing. And because you didn't announce your journey, every glimpse of your progress shocks them. Silence makes the loudest noise when it is paired with undeniable transformation. It says, without a single word, you had me, you lost me. And now you can only wonder what my life has become. When you constantly share every detail of your journey, you hand over the keys to your energy. People begin to form opinions about your life, and not everyone who listens is rooting for you. Some are waiting for updates just to measure whether you're really hurting or if you're moving forward without them. Protecting your energy means understanding that not everyone deserves access to your personal world. The more you guard your thoughts, your struggles, and your healing process, the stronger you become. Think of your energy as a treasure. If you give pieces of it away freely to those who don't value you, you end up drained, and the very people who doubted you will feel empowered. But when you keep your growth private, you stop allowing others to calculate your progress or assume they know your story. Instead, you create a sacred space where only you know the battles you've fought and the victories you've earned. That privacy builds confidence because your peace no longer depends on outside validation. Protecting your energy also means not letting the one who left you see your weak moments. They may expect you to struggle, to crumble, or to chase them with explanations. But when you refuse to give them that satisfaction, you take back control. You choose who gets to hear about your challenges and who doesn't, and more often than not, the one who hurt you deserves nothing. Your silence and privacy shield you from being misunderstood or underestimated. The beauty of guarding your energy is that it allows you to heal without interference. People can't poison what they don't know. They can't judge progress they can't see. And when they eventually realize you've moved forward without ever giving them a chance to witness your struggles, the regret cuts deeper. Protecting your energy is about saying, my peace is priceless, and not everyone gets access to it. That kind of strength forces people to recognize your worth from afar and wish they had appreciated it when they had the chance. The best way to answer anyone who doubted you is through growth. Words can be debated, but transformation is undeniable. When you take your focus off explaining your pain and instead channel that energy into building yourself, you create a version of you they never expected to see. Growth doesn't require an announcement. It shows in your confidence, your achievements, and the way you carry yourself. When you choose to elevate, you shift the story from being the one who was left to being the one who outgrew the situation. Self-elevation is about pouring into yourself in every area. Go after your goals with fire, invest in your personal development, and refuse to let heartbreak be the final chapter. Start the fitness journey you've been putting off. Pursue that career path you've been afraid to chase. Learn new skills that add value to your life. Each step you take toward building yourself makes the one who walked away realize that leaving you was their biggest mistake. Growth is magnetic, and people can't help but notice when you level up in silence. There's a power that comes with discipline and focus. While they may have expected you to spend your nights broken and your days stuck in the past, surprise them by rising higher than before. Nothing sparks regret like seeing the person they thought they could live without become unstoppable. You don't need to post about it, announce it, or prove anything to anyone. Just let your actions show the results. The glow of progress speaks louder than any story you could tell. The truth is, growth makes you untouchable. Once you elevate, you'll realize you never needed their approval in the first place. They left you thinking they were the prize, but as you rise, they begin to see the truth. You were the gift, and losing you was their downfall. Focus on self-elevation, and let the life you build in silence become the loudest reminder of what they can never have back. One of the greatest traps people fall into after being left behind is the desire to prove they're okay. They post updates, share stories, and speak about how happy or successful they are just to show they've moved on. But when you do that, you're really seeking validation. You're trying to convince others, and sometimes even yourself, that you've healed. True power comes when you don't feel the need to prove anything at all. Silence shows that you're no longer looking for approval, and that is where real independence begins. Validation is a dangerous cycle because it ties your peace to other people's opinions. If they applaud, you feel strong. If they criticize, you feel weak. But when you stop sharing every detail and keep your life private, you break free from that cycle. You no longer live for their reaction. You live for your own growth. That independence shows maturity. It says, I don't need you to clap for me to know I'm winning. When you eliminate the need for validation, you shift the narrative completely. You're no longer the person left behind trying to prove your worth. You're the person who outgrew the situation. That shift is powerful because it removes desperation. Desperation chases people away, but confidence draws them back with regret. Silence communicates confidence in a way words never can. It shows that you don't need to announce your progress because progress will reveal itself in time. Eventually, the one who left begins to notice. They realize you didn't beg, you didn't explain, and you didn't broadcast your healing. You simply kept moving forward. That discovery hits harder than any message you could send. They start to understand that they're not the center of your story anymore. You took the pain, turned it into strength, and walked forward without needing an audience. Eliminating validation seeking doesn't just protect your heart, it reclaims your power. And nothing makes someone regret losing you more than seeing that you never needed their applause to rise above. Actions have a language of their own, and it is one that can never be denied. You can tell someone you're doing fine. You can try to convince them you've moved on. But nothing delivers the message like results. When your life starts to shift, when people can see with their own eyes that you're stronger, happier, and more successful, your silence becomes deafening. You don't need to send a message directly. Your actions speak louder than any words ever could. Think about it, words can be dismissed. Someone can say you're only pretending, or they can ignore what you tell them. But when you walk into a room glowing with confidence, when you achieve something they never believed you could, when your joy radiates without you ever having to announce it, there is no denying the truth. Actions don't just speak, they shout. And the person who left you will hear them the loudest, even if you never say a word. The beauty of letting your actions do the talking is that it puts you in control. You're no longer reacting to what was done to you. You're creating a new narrative through the life you're building. Each achievement is like a page in your story, and the one who let you go is forced to read along, whether they want or not. They see your progress, they notice your growth, and they realize they are no longer part of your journey. This realization hits harder than any speech you could give because it confronts them with undeniable evidence. They may regret the day they walked away when they see you thriving without them. They may wish they had stayed when they realize your silence wasn't emptiness, it was strength. Actions transform regret into reality because they prove beyond a doubt that you didn't just survive, you rose higher. And when someone sees the life they could have shared, but now can only watch from afar, that regret becomes permanent. Moving on is not about pretending you don't care. It's about truly freeing yourself from the weight of what happened. When you master the art of moving on, you no longer measure your worth by who stayed or who left. Instead, you shift your focus to building a life that feels whole and fulfilling without needing anyone's approval. That's when real power is born. The kind that makes someone regret losing you without you ever having to say a word. The secret is to stop looking backward. Every time you replay the past, you chain yourself to it. Moving on requires you to accept that what's gone is gone and what's ahead is better. It doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing not to live in yesterday's pain. You redirect your energy into joy, purpose, and growth. Suddenly, your smile becomes genuine again. Your confidence shines brighter and your spirit feels lighter. That natural glow is impossible to ignore, especially for the one who thought you wouldn't recover. When you move on fully, you don't announce it. You don't call to say, I'm better now. You let your life be the proof. They may check your social media, hear about your progress from others, or see you in person one day, and the realization will sting. The person they left behind no longer exists. In their place stands someone stronger, wiser, and happier. That transformation is what creates regret because it forces them to see they walked away from something priceless. Mastering moving on also means not allowing bitterness to hold you back. True freedom comes when you release the need for revenge and instead live in peace. That peace is what separates you from the pain and makes your future brighter than your past. The more you embrace this freedom, the less relevant they become. And the less relevant they feel, the deeper the regret sinks in. Moving on isn't just healing, it's rising. It's choosing to live so fully that the one who lost you can only stand at a distance, wishing they were still part of your story.